Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. It's Kasha from One Cider at a Time. I'm going to be speaking with Sarah Hemley from Hemley Cider in California. Looking forward to that.
Hello.
Hi Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. Oh my goodness, we just had snow flurries here this afternoon. I know, so I was like, oh, I can't wait to see what it's like in Sacramento. So, wow, what a beautiful afternoon. Oh,
Yes,
gorgeous.
it's basically summer here. It's t-shirt weather. So right now I am in, these are our organic Bosque pears. Figured start with the pears. And I'm assuming so one of the cool things about where we live in Sacramento, we live on the Delta.
Hmm.
And we are 2 weeks ahead of anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere as far as harvest goes. So right now, I think maybe you can see we've got pears already coming up. I don't know if you can see the little guys,
Let's
but
see.
bloom is over and pears are, there they are. So we're already starting.
You started off with as a pear farm, right? 1850? Like
Yeah,
this.
it's my
Yeah.
husband's sixth generation pear farmer.
Wow. Now I read too that do most of the pears that are eaten in the States come from your farm?
So this area, Delta area,
Yeah.
at one time it was the largest concentrated pear growing area in the world. And
Wow.
it's really, Bartlett pears were a huge crop here. And the cool thing about it is, if you've had a pear, if your parents have had a pear, if your grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, odds are it came from one of these orchards around here. So it's a
Wow.
story that is for everybody. They've gone off to World War I, World War II. They've been in the Civil War. It's crazy to think how old some of these trees are and how much stories and how many people they've, been a part of.
That's amazing. And so it was, but this is the first time they've been repurposed for something other than an edible fruit, right?
Yeah, they've been used for cannery fruit, but otherwise this is the first time, 2015 was the first time we started making alcohol with them.
Okay. And so what spurred that decision?
That was my bad idea. That was fun though. I really wanted to make something. Well, when I moved out here and met my husband, I was blown away by how much work went into farming, the history out here, all the stories out here, and the amazing quality of fruit that's out here. And so I really wanted to do something different with it. And so I traveled to England and France and ended up teaming up with a guy named Chris Thompson in Tasmania. And the two of us came up with this way of making what we would call dessert fruit really shine in a cider in a balanced way. Because, most cider drinkers know the English style uses a different kind of fruit. And what we really wanted to do was focus on the Bartlett pear and the Bosque pear and the really amazing produce that we grow out here in California. And so that's kind of how we started the cider, was really just focusing on bringing the Bartlett in a different form that is palatable, it's balanced. Yeah, it's been a fun journey.
Now, did you travel with the intention of making a cider, or just with what can you do with it?
Yeah, all our vacations are based on alcohol.
Yeah. Okay.
I loved wine and really fell in love with the farm to fork idea. And I only had whiters, and I was thinking there's got to be something different. And so I was going kind of on a journey to discover cider and finding that there wasn't a lot of, especially using dessert fruit, and how can we make something balanced with the dessert fruit that we have. And that's kind of where the journey started and traveled. And we went and tasted and ended up in Tasmania, which is horrible. I had to go down there and drink whiskey and cider, and it was, I like to sacrifice for others.
It's a rough life you have, right? Now, because your cider maker is a whiskey craftsperson too, correct?
Yeah, he's a whiskey maker at Lark Distillery in Tasmania, and he's still down there. So it's been a lot of fun Skyping back and forth, where I didn't know anything about cider winemaking and getting the juice, and it's not been a learning curve. It's like a backwards wall where you're holding on by your fingers, and every day's if it goes really bad, you just go taste tanks all day and see, then you
It's a rough life you have there, right? Beautiful weather and tasting tanks all day. That sounds really rough. So who's in charge of like the taste of it now? Are you taking the right? Yeah.
It's all me now.
Wow.
Yeah, we made a jalapeno cider, and I Skyped down to, it was a Skype at the time, to Tasmania and said I'm putting jalapenos in it, and Chris was like, don't you do it, don't you dare, don't you and then he came up and tried it and got even madder because he loved it. I'm like, yes, I know.
What did you do that? Did you steep it the jalapenos in the cider like during what stage of the like fermentation process?
At the end of it, and it's the green, what I was really going for, I had tasted an amazing cider in Napa that was made from a perry that had a natural flavor of jalapeno in it, and it had that green jalapeno. It wasn't super spicy. So I was trying to bring that back into the cider and seeing if I could play with that. So it's fresh green ground jalapeno and then an infusion like a tea bag after it's done fermenting, and kind of just getting that crisp green but not a burn, and it really ties it together instead of like burning you up. We just shipped California, but that's changing soon. Yes. Has so much going on.
Nice. What about coming up here across the border? Any?
I guess we have to work on that now, huh?
Okay, so show us around some more like these your gorgeous orchards. How vast are your orchards?
So the orchard that I'm at right now, this is called the Wheeler Ranch, and this ranch is I think it's about 200 acres of pear trees. And then we've
Wow.
got a couple more, so we've got about 800 acres in production of pears. That's right. So it's
Mm-hmm.
mostly going to the fresh market. So I'm going to come around and see. So this, where we put the cidery, it's like the end of the world. This is there's a grass runway that runs down and then all the way over to, see if I am really bad at this, aren't I?
No,
See
you're
if I
doing
can,
great.
oh, I'm
No,
going to turn it
I
around.
see sun. I see sun. You don't understand. It's like it's after 7 p.m. here, and it's cold, and we're getting back to snow tonight. So I'm just like,
Oh.
this is like a vacation for me without, having to go through travel restrictions.
Oh, this is our sunny, beautiful Sacramento. It's nice right now. Pretty soon it'll be over 100.
Yeah.
So we've got a breeze. So this is the airplane hangar that we converted into the tasting room and into the cidery. We come around the
That's
corner, and this is all the open ground. Poppies are blooming. And then coming over here is the tasting room.
Oh, it looks just like it does on Instagram.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, wow, that's beautiful. Usually, like the pictures are one thing, and then you see it up close, and it looks a little different. That looks exactly like the post I think you just did a couple of days ago. Of that, that looks gorgeous. That's
And these are
gorgeous.
all tap handles made from pear wood. So we try to do as much as we can in-house.
You made the handles from pear wood?
Yeah, so that's all pear wood that's been branded with our brand, and then we make coasters out of them. But
Oh, that's so nice. Wow, so nice. Okay. Let's see a question here. Valerie wants to know where she can find your new lavender and matcha.
oh, right now it's just at the tasting room. We let a couple kegs out. I think there's a couple stores that have some kegs, but the tasting room is where you can get it now, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we will be launching it online, hopefully in the next week. We opened the tasting room 2 weeks ago, and I got a little buried.
And Carol wants to know, she tried to join the club, but there was an error message.
Yes, I'm restructuring that too, which
Okay.
is trying to do everything at once, which is a great idea, right? But
So
we're
what is your,
trying to restructure that so that we can ship out of state as well. And that, I wanted to have that done last week. My goal is to work on that tomorrow so we can launch that and get cider out to people.
nice. What is your cider club? Is it like a quarterly or is it an
Every
annual?
3 months?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. And there's two ones, right? You can use like Bartlett or Bosch or Bosque.
That,
Do you
yeah,
say
so you
Bosch or
can,
Bosque?
we say Bosque. I don't know if that's right
Bosque.
or not.
You have the pear farm. I just buy pears. So I'm gonna think that you're probably right on that. So I'll go with Bosque.
That
Okay,
works
so
for
we
me.
got okay. This is now what are we looking at now? Oh, so this is more of the tasting area, right? Like so when the patio was open.
Yeah, so this is the patio. Out there, well, out there, I'm just pointing to stuff. There's my
Yeah.
finger. Out there, we'll have a stage soon with bands and live music, and then we're setting things up so that we can have food trucks. The open ground out here is going to be corn, and which changes everything. And on a really cool day, you can see the Sierras from here, but
Wow.
it's limited Wi-Fi, so you're kind of like, it's a mile drive down into the orchard to get down here, and then you just kind of feel like you've immersed yourself in the orchard and experience, and you just kind of have to relax and hang out with us for a little bit.
That sounds great.
Which is,
Wow.
I don't know
So
how dizzy I'm making you.
no. I'm good. I'm good. Hopefully you're okay. The hanger.
Yeah,
What did you use it before? Before you made it the tasting room? What were you using it as?
the hangar was just an airplane hangar for fun, for just a airplane. It was a grass runway and just for fun for flying, and nobody had used it for about 10 years, and it was empty, and it had three-phase power and floor drains, so like, oh, that's where the cider's going.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I really love those handles. Wow, that's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So inside there, what's behind that? Just in case
So
just for those of us who have to travel on Instagram. Like,
we get to go behind the dishwasher.
yeah, this is the stuff I love to see too. I mean, I love all the beautiful orchards and everything, but let's see what the stuff that we usually can't see. Oh, the
All
tanks.
these fun, the tanks, which are beautiful in their own right, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow,
And then we've
how
got,
big is that? Like how big is that? I see the ladders. Oh my goodness.
so this one is 4,650 gallons, and it's got apple in it right now. And then these tanks, this is one of our primary fermenters, and then this is, we use this as a bright tank. So it's got jalapeno ready to bottle on Thursday, and then another fermenter right here. So these are 3,000 gallon tanks, and this is 2,000, and then we've got another smaller bright tank that's about 1,000 gallons. And then
Wow.
are in, this is where tons of fun happens. And then today I was making a huge mess outside with pressing strawberries, and I'm still, as soon as I get off the phone, I'll clean up. Yeah, you get to see the strawberries on the ground.
Oh, that's so cool. Now, do you grow those too, the strawberries, or did you get them from another farmer?
We got those from another farmer. So when I started, I wanted to do everything estate grown, and we started growing the jalapenos. But then we have some neighbors who grow some amazing fruit too, and they had some amazing cherries. And we're finding a lot, especially in California, prices are going up and the market's changing, and they're having a hard time finding places for these seconds.
Okay.
So it was really cool to connect with them and be able to find a home for the cherries that they didn't get thrown away and they didn't go to waste. And so we started with that, and then we were working with them. So they're our neighbors. They also grow pears, they grow cherries, but then they also pack the chocolate covered strawberries.
Okay.
And then the ones that are too small or too big or too ugly to get dipped in chocolate go to cider.
Nice. And so you press all your own fruit, like you take care of you control all of your variables that you can.
Yeah, I definitely find that I want to make sure it's cold pressed. I want to make sure I know what the fruit tastes like before we put it in the cider. I want to make sure that it blends right, and I think you have to and there's a whole lot of work that goes into every aspect of that, but it's worth it. There's definitely a different flavor, and I think our whole core concept is really about respecting the fruit and the farmers and then all the work that goes into growing it. And so we really want if we say strawberry lavender, you're going to taste strawberry and lavender on the cider because it's the real thing. We pressed everything. We don't, not purchasing ingredients. We're making everything here, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, that's what it said, right? You said the great cider starts with great fruit, right? And so that's like
Yeah, it's the most important part.
that's the start. Yeah. And how do you come up with strawberry and lemons that are mixed together?
Yeah, that's so the strawberry that I'm pressing now is strawberry, lavender, and rosemary together, and that one's been, and then the one that maca is butterfly pea shrub, then lemons from the foothills, and then apple juice and pear cider. And I like these are all really bright cans. These are the strawberry cans.
Cool.
Getting canned this weekend on
Nice.
Thursday.
So are you inspired by like flavors that you like, or are you inspired by the produce that you have in front of you?
Usually it's the fruit. Yeah, it's kind of I'll find fruit that I love and then start imagining what that's gonna be like and how you can blend it. And that's kind of what we start with is mostly the fruit.
Now, how did you come up with mandarin pear? Because I'd seen that a while ago on somebody else's Instagram post.
No, so the mandarin
pear, because I don't have.
Well, that one was there's some gentlemen that had just randomly showed up at the cidery and they said they had mandarins up in the foothills, and that was kind of when I was like, well, we only do what we grow here, and they didn't have any other extra market for that either, so that kind of is how the mandarin was like, okay, well, we'll start experimenting and seeing. I wasn't sure if I was going to get the acid balance right, and so it was kind of playing with that for a little bit, and then, but it turned out pretty awesome, and now they hooked us on mandarins from the Sierras, which are pretty amazing fruit. You gotta come to California.
Well, my friend, I guess I have to. All restrictions are lifted. I'll be there. My friend Damon in New York has a can of that one. He's just waiting to open it.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for like going through all the Wi-Fi's and in cutoffs and coming back to chat. It's been really, really, really great. I want to make sure I say that before something happens and we can't connect again. But I think one of the things I asked before we got cut off was just about the process, that you have now that you've adopted from the Tasmanian influence.
Yes, that was so a lot of it's really trying to bring, like we said, the fruit out. The main thing is that you're not going to press just a Bartlett by itself and then have that be a nice complex beverage. So you really have to combine the fruit together at the press, which is why we do Bartlett and Boss together. Okay. And then those go through primary fermentation, but we also do a malolactic fermentation. And then during the malolactic, we add oak chips in to add a little bit more tannin than is naturally in the fruit. And then the last process that we do, so we'll add fresh pressed juice, just a little bit of fresh pressed juice back in there, and then that really makes that Bartlett and Boss pop. And so that's kind of our original pear cider. So that's how we do that one. We do dry fruit ones that have no back sweetening like you like. But we're finding the original and the way that we blend those, they're really a good transition from beer and wine and then stepping you into enjoying different ciders and being more, orchard focused. And it's been, there's a huge future in fruit for cider, which is pretty exciting. And we've identified some cool Perry pears in the orchard and hope to do some really cool Champenois style and get better as we go. So we're still making improvements and learning as we go and learning from other people and seeing what people love and really enjoying the experience.
That's great. So for now, the ways that people can purchase from you, like with COVID restrictions for your area in California, what are the steps, I guess, like for the tasting room? Do they have to like book a time or book an appointment or anything?
For now, we don't have appointments. We did a soft opening and thought no one would show up, but they did. So if, if too many show up, we may have to move on to appointments going forward. Yeah, we're learning as we go and seeing. But yeah, who wouldn't want to be out here hanging out with me? Because I'm such a great person.
Well, I would be there if I could get on the plane and come there. You do seem like such a great person. I mean, you're like a Mac. You're like so not phased by like the Wi-Fi, and it's just great. You just look like yeah, you just have so much passion for your area and for what your fruit can do, and sort of like how it can develop. The passion you have for your fruit, for the fruit, like not just yours, but the ones with the farms, and it's really really nice to hear that how much care you put in, or how much care you feel for your ingredients, and the fact that you will go on this mission to say, what can I do with this beautiful fruit, and then everyone else gets to rewards of that, of your hard work.
I think
That's
that's one of the cool things about cider, right? It's all about the fruit. So my
absolutely
first profession I was a landscape architect, and I
okay.
kind of like to compare cider and beer to architects and landscape architects, where and you think about architecture and you think, all right, you're going to go in and you're defining the space. So this is where you enter. This is the door. This is these are ingredients that you're adding into this. And this is the experience that you're going to have, and and there's nuances within that space, and it depends on what you're eating with the beer, and so there are nuances, but it's really about the brewer, and they're kind of the architect, they're the designer, they're putting these ingredients together. And then landscape architecture, you're dealing with elements that are out of your control. There's things that are going to happen that you didn't plan for, and there's that you have to roll with, and there's things that are going to go wrong. There's things that are going to go right. And it can't be all about you and your ego. It has to be about the space and what happens and kind of the flow of it. And there's a control that you have of bringing elements together, but you can't just push and make sure that it's all what you want, because it never turns out right. But it's all about, like cider, the fruit. So that's always what I think about when I think about making wine and cider. It's all about like letting that come through and letting your ego go and letting shutting down.